Hello everyone, this is Jonathan Little for PokerNews.com. Today we're playing 33 big blinds deep with Queen Jack of Diamonds in middle position. We like to open it up, which is certainly fine and reasonable. You may want to go for a smaller raise to about 600 or 700, but I think 800 is fine. We flop an open-ended royal flush draw. Hello. That doesn't happen too often. Unfortunately, the board's paired, so that rains on our parade pretty hard. The opponent checks. We are definitely going to bet here with our whole range. The pot's not displaying, but it's about 2,000. I decide to bet 800. This is definitely a spot where we have a solid range advantage. When you have a solid range advantage, you just want to bet small with your whole range, which is exactly what we're doing here. We may like to check some hands, but not this one, that's for sure. Turns a 7. The opponent checks. Okay. When the opponent check calls our flop bet, what does his range look like? It's probably going to be mostly good ace highs, probably ace high like ace queen or ace jack. It's going to be hands like a king, hands like a 10, although he may raise a 10 on the flop. He may even raise a king on the flop. It's going to be stuff like queen jack. It's going to be stuff like pocket fours, etc. This is a tough range to play against because some of it's never going to fold, and some of it's always going to fold, right? I think in general, this is a spot where I'm probably going to continue betting. It's really, really unfortunate, though. If I bet 2,000 on the turn, notice if the opponent calls, the pot's going to go to 8. We'll have 6 going to the river, and it can make a 3/4 pot shove. If I do bet 2K on the turn and the opponent shoves, I have to put in 6 to win a pot that's going to be 20? Is that right? 16, 17, 9, 20. Yes, we need to win a third of the time, roughly, to justify calling. So how many outs do we have if we get jammed on? We have 9 flush cards. And let's count all of our straight cards as good. So we have 15 outs, which is roughly break even. So what that will likely lead me to do is bet smaller on the turn or slightly bigger on the turn to either price myself out if I get jammed on, or slightly bigger to price myself in. I typically want to shy away from being in very nearly break even scenarios. And right here, my odds of winning if I get jammed on are going to be roughly the same as my odds of my pot odds, right? And if instead, like let's say I bet 1,300 on the turn and my opponent shoves, well, now I need to win more often, and I know I'm already going to win about 33% of the time. Or if I bet bigger, I'm going to be getting better pot odds, so I can justify calling. That said, it is very important to realize here that all of your outs may not be good. For example, we could be against ace 5 of diamonds, and they were just completely screwed, right? So if I did bet this, I would typically lean towards a smaller bet with the idea of folding if I get jammed on. I think that's going to be a better play than betting big. If I did bet small, I'm definitely bluffing the river, and it will still just be an all-in bluff. Maybe I do want to check this sometimes. Anytime you have a draw that you really don't want to get check raised off of, checking behind makes some sense. If you think your opponent's range is particularly strong for whatever reason, like say the guy looks happy, maybe we don't want to bet either. So as you see, we have lots of options available here. I think though I would either prefer a small bet of about 1,600 or a check. River comes a 5 of spades. So we flopped the royal flush draw. That was everything we wanted in life on the first 2 cards. Everything from the 3rd card down was just a complete bummer. Opponent checks the river. Should we bluff? Well, the very clear answer is yes, because we have queen high. Queen high is one of the worst hands in our range, therefore we should strongly consider bluffing it. The problem, though, is that what are we trying to get our opponent off of? We're trying to get our opponent off of ace high and pocket fours. Problem, though, is that the opponent could just have a king, and I definitely think the opponent should check a king on the river if he played it this way. He probably would bet a 10 or check raise a 10, so I'm not so worried about that. I think what this really boils down to is if the opponent's floating a lot of ace highs on the flop like they probably should, I think I probably need to bluff this. If the opponent's not floating a lot of ace highs on the flop, meaning they just have good hands on the flop, I probably shouldn't. It is worth mentioning we do beat some busted draws here, like queen 9 that floated. But those hands would often bluff the river, so those can be discounted too. So, gosh, this is a spot where I probably should just bluff. It's always unfortunate when you have a queen and a jack of diamonds in your hand because you block a lot of the flush draws. Like, it'd be really nice to know the opponent could have Jack 9 of diamonds or Jack 8 of diamonds. But he can't, right? And because he can't, that makes it to where he has fewer hands he's going to fold to a bet. At the same time, though, I just know everyone has ace, queen, and ace, jack in the range here. And ace, queen, and ace, jack will at least consider folding. So, anyway, I'm going round and round in a circle here, talking myself in and out of bluffing. The hand's pretty bad. It's one of the worst hands in my range, so I should probably bluff it. That's what it amounts to. We can go around and around on the carousel all day. And this time, we ended up on the wrong seat. That said, I don't know if the opponent's even folding this on the river. Because when it goes check-check on the turn, that often makes people very inclined to check the river, looking to check call a lot with all their bluff catchers, especially when the draws miss. And here, all the draws missed, right? The straight draw missed, all the straight draws missed, all the flush draws missed. This guy does have the ace of diamonds, which blocks some of my busted flush draws, so that's a reason not to call. He does have a queen that blocks queen jack, which is a reason not to call, but I still think this guy probably calls any reasonable bet. Maybe I'm supposed to jam the river, but if I jam the river, I'm probably only doing that with pocket 7s and pocket 5s. So that is only 3 combinations of hands. I'm sorry, 6 combinations of hands. So that means I can do it with 4 combinations of draws. That would be queen jack suited, maybe jack 9 suited, maybe queen 9 suited, maybe 9-8 suited. That's 4 combinations. That's a situation where you could be balanced by doing exactly that, just only jamming 7s, 5s, and these 4 flush draws. Maybe that's the right play. I could see that being realistic. If that's confusing to you at all, definitely check out pokercoaching.com. We discussed that thoroughly. Also, I have a book, Mastering Small Stakes No Limit Hold'em, where, well, here it is. Mastering Small Stakes No Limit Hold'em by Jonathan Little. You can get it at jonathanlittlepoker.com/mastering. We go in depth in that book discussing how to balance a river bluffing range. And, you know, this is probably one of these spots where I bet shoving is going to be ideal. That implies I'm checking the turn with 7s full, which may or may not be the case, probably not. But I'm definitely checking with 5s. So 5s are 3 combinations of hands, in which case I could have 2 bluffs. I may not even have jack 9 and queen 9 of diamonds in my range. So we only have queen jack of diamonds and 9-8 of diamonds. So maybe that's the play. Jam 5s, jam queen jack, jam 9-8. It's probably the right play. So anyway, that's going to be it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, check out my book, Mastering Small Stakes No Limit Hold'em. You can get it at jonathanlittlepoker.com/mastering. It's a big book, 500 pages or so. Lots and lots of ranges. All right, that's going to be it for today. Enjoy yourselves. Be nice to one another. And I'll talk to you next time.